Wowee, the first budget of 2025 is now complete. My name is Jessie. If you are new here, I'm gonna do a little recap video of my January budget and just show you where we overspent, where we didn't, and what we're doing with money moving forward this month. We brought in like a little bit extra income that I wasn't anticipating, and as you guys know, I talked about this in my February reset that February is going to be pretty tight. March probably will be too. We'll see how the rest of the year goes, but for now, just worried about those ones. As I'm filming this, it is Friday, January 31st, and I am having a C-section on Monday. So you guys are gonna see this after I've had a baby, which is also crazy to me. Normally I would wait until the 1st to film this because that's on a weekend, and then I'm having a C-section on Monday. I'm just gonna do it today. So there's a chance a little bit more money is gonna come out of this budget, but probably not. Like for example, Ben's going to the health food store right now, but I'm probably gonna put that in February's budget because it'll be food and stuff for February. Unless we randomly like get food out or a bill comes out today that I wasn't anticipating, this is pretty much our finished budget anyway. So I wanted to show you guys. If you're not already, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok because I will probably announce there earlier that I've had the baby if that's something that you care about. For today, so I don't sit here and ramble too much, let's jump in to our overall budget, how this month went, where we went off track and where we didn't. Let's go. Okay, here is the budget. We were anticipating bringing in about $9,086.36 this month, and we brought in $9,674.58. I know a lot of you don't like over here that it says like negative when it's actually stuff that we brought in, but I honestly just don't have the energy to try to figure out how to change it. So it is what it is. But basically I brought in $72 more than I was anticipating. It was money back from TikTok shop, and two of you actually, thank you so much, bought me a coffee. I always have a link in our description. Not necessary, but I've had people ask before if there's a way that they could like support us or send us something for after like postpartum, whatever. So I have a buy me a coffee account. People can buy me a coffee for like $5 or something like that, or however many they would like to. So I had a couple of payments come through for that. I will say they do take money out of that when they send that to me, so I'm contemplating in the future if somebody asks. It feels weird to just like give out my Venmo or something like that, and I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm being like, please send me something, but I know some people like to do that, so I appreciate both of you. Ben's income was $128.88 less than I was anticipating. That was because he got one paycheck that was like normal and then another paycheck that wasn't, because the insurance premiums for the new insurance that his company decided to go with went up quite a bit, but then his taxes went down like a tiny bit, so it ended up evening out a little bit less than we were anticipating. We did actually end up getting 2 payments from the company that Ben founded that we were being paid out of. They only had 2 payments left. We thought they only had 1 payment left, but then like math and stuff, there was 2, so they sent both payments last month, which you'll see I'm rolling over most of it. I also rolled over some money from our previous month. We got a little bit of a refund on miscellaneous because I sent 2 things back to TikTok shop that I just like literally never even opened, and then we got like a tiny bit of interest. So that's how we ended up having $588.22 more this month than we were anticipating. We also, so Ben's new insurance prices went up. My birthday, we spent a lot of money on that. And then taxes. It was $565 for our accountant. And if I didn't have my own business, I wouldn't pay that much for an accountant, but because I get money from I get a tiny bit of money from YouTube. I think I made $800 total last year. And then like I have my freelance business, and then, you know, like some of my write-offs were for like TikTok or social media type stuff, even though I don't make a consistent income over there. I want an accountant that actually understands that. The accountant we used to use was almost as expensive as this person. She did our taxes last year. We got a really good refund. We did have to pay in a little bit first state, or none of that matters. Anyway, so she's a very good tax accountant. However, she's very expensive. So it was $565 for her. So I don't know that that's something in the future, if I'm not working or bringing in an income, we'll probably just do our own taxes online or something like that. I know that other people that are seeing this are probably like, are you kidding me? But again, remember that I have my own business, and like, you really don't want to get in trouble for doing your taxes wrong when you have your own business. We just use an accountant that understands freelance business, Ben getting money from a company, me doing a little bit of social media, that kind of stuff. However, I didn't take that out of this budget. I took it out of my business savings because that's why I have the business savings. So our taxes are already in, which it feels great. Like, I'm so happy about that. We might even get our refund in February if it like goes through quickly, although the government is like a shit show right now. So we'll see if literally anything happens. Let's see, these are all fairly normal. We were over budget on multimedia, but I don't really understand why. So I upped the budget next month because we must be paying for like more TV channels than I thought that we were. So yeah, anyway, we have to figure that out. But that was the only thing that was like over budget. I do technically still have my business expenses separated out. Although if I don't have a business, then I won't be writing this stuff off. Our Notion did go up $4, so I changed that in the next one. And then technically this is over budget, but that's because I didn't budget anything. I had to get a new app for editing vertical content because with like the TikTok ban and stuff, like CapCut didn't work, which is what I used. And then when I tried to re-download CapCut, when it came back like 5 hours later, I couldn't, and I can no longer get into CapCut. So plus CapCut honestly was so expensive. I like the InShot app, so that's what I'm going to be using. And then I printed my vision board, so that was another $10. So we spent about $53 over budget, but nothing too crazy. Our debt, always the same. Currently, none of our payments have gone up. Interest has gone up on Ben's loan, but our payments haven't at this time. So we again paid $990.52. As far as groceries in Costco, we did go over budget by about $100, which I don't feel like is terrible. Obviously, I wish that we wouldn't have, but we put in like a really big Thrive order, a couple of really big Whole Foods orders, things like that. I think February is going to be over budget already. Like, we've already spent a good amount of money between Whole Foods, groceries, and Costco that we spent yesterday and today, but they're groceries for February, so I'm taking them out of the February budget, if that makes sense. It's just, it is what it is. Takeout, we were over budget by $65, and that is just because we just got stuff out a little bit more than we were anticipating. We also got like a second date night that we weren't expecting, that my sister-in-law Francesca came over and watched Ivy, and yeah, so we just took advantage of that, which was, you know, an additional probably $50 or something like that that we weren't anticipating to spend, but it was wonderful to have another date night before our life gets turned upside down. So there was just like a couple of random things. You'll see down below that we did spend money at another place as well, but it's in a different section. A little bit under budget on medication and supplements. Ben did warn me that he thinks we're going to be over budget in February, which again is hard because our income doesn't actually outweigh that. But I'll show you at the end that we are moving a good chunk of rollover over for next month versus putting it in savings. We were about $200 under budget on household supplies. We bought like curtains right there for our downstairs area so that when baby's down here we can make it a little bit darker. I got a Shutterfly book of pictures of Ivy, which I've done the last 2 years. We got like a bunch of stuff from Target for the house, postpartum stuff from Target, and postpartum stuff from Amazon. Little bit over budget on personal spending. I got my nails done and a haircut, and Ben got a haircut, so we were about $7 over budget on that. We were under budget on medical. I went to the chiropractor 4 times. It was a $25 charge, and then I got a massage, but it was like discounted because it was at the chiropractic place. So that was like $40. That equals $140. Ben also told me, this is the thing sometimes with like, it's not Ben's fault, but like he just doesn't think about budgeting the way that I do, or things come late and I do my budgeting earlier in the month. But apparently his therapist sent him like a $240 bill. And even he is like, I don't know what this is for. So he's gonna look through it, but there's a possibility that now we're gonna have a $240 therapist bill from like random payments that apparently are from last year. We've had this before where they've sent us this like huge lump sum bill and we're like, what? Please stop doing that. So anyway, he needs to look through that, but there's a good chance that we're gonna have to pay that next month again. So we're getting a lot of like bigger charges in February, which again, if you watch my February reset, we don't have the space for bigger charges. So there is a high chance that we will be going into savings next month, and that just is what it is, but we'll see. We were under budget on utilities. We only got gas once, but Ben might have put one on his credit card. I'm not really sure. So looks like we only got gas once. We were over budget on the dogs by a lot, $180. And that is basically because it was $180 to have them groomed, and it was $180 worth it. So it was actually $160, and Ben tipped her because the dogs were just like disgusting, and also Finn was like a handful because he was so anxious, which she was like super great. So the woman that does it out of her house. And I think that moving forward, if we have the budget, we'll probably get them groomed at least once a year. Like best case scenario would be like quarterly or like twice a year, just because it's a little bit easier on us. Like we still need to keep up with them, but they're very hairy dogs. Spent a little bit in miscellaneous. So we actually were $128.80 under budget in our overall variable expenses, between like with how things kind of evened out. We were very over budget on birthdays, holidays, anniversary. I actually budgeted $100 from my mom in there and then $100 from us, and we obviously went very over it. We did have we spent about $100 from my mom for a day date that we did. And I also got pajamas for postpartum as part of that. Ben put a bunch of stuff on his credit card for my birthday, which was yesterday. And the only thing I've gotten so far is this. And 2 of the presents are like still in the mail. And then I think he's also doing like a postpartum, not push present, but like just a like gift. My love language is gifts. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of people talk smack about that kind of stuff. I just like stopped caring what people think about that. Like it's like gifts and acts of service. I feel like gifts for me, somebody put a lot of thought into something. Like I don't want just like a random crappy gift, but like when people like think about something and give that to me, like that's just always been something that I've liked. And he is trying to be better about that. He's not a gift giving guy, so he's just trying to be better about like listening to my love language. However, he did spend a lot. He did say that he doesn't think the entire thing is actually from his credit card, so we'll have to go through like how much it actually was. The other thing is yesterday we ended up getting lunch out, which was $55, and then we bought food, and we were just gonna get food for ourselves for dinner, but then we invited Ben's family over, so it ended up being pretty expensive. It was like $86.80, so almost $90. $34. What did we spend? I don't even know what that's for, but it's something for my birthday. Did I get something else that I don't remember? Oh god, I don't know. But yeah, so we went very over budget on that, and again, that's because it's like my birthday, baby, postpartum gift, I guess. Maybe I'll like change this around depending on what Ben's credit card actually looks like. He paid it. Normally I pay his credit card just because I'm always in our accounts, but he asked me not to go in his credit card account this month so that I wouldn't see where he purchased me gifts from, which makes sense. So anyways, we have about $1,386.44 left over. Now some of that, about $800 of that, is from the business that Ben was a part of that we weren't anticipating that additional income, and then other parts of it is just like how our budget reacted. So normally what I would do is I would put that into our savings account instead of like moving stuff to savings and then moving it back. I'm just gonna put all of it into our budget for next month, especially because the beginning of the month is a little bit harder because we pay our rent, which is a substantial amount of Ben's check. If I'm not getting paid at the beginning of the month, and then we wipe out most of his check with our rent. For right now, I'm just gonna keep moving rollover over. And then when we get back in the groove, whether it's I start making more money, Ben starts making more money, you know, we start having less expenses or lower rent or something like that, I'll change things around and hopefully we can start putting stuff back into savings again. Like I explained in our February reset, this is just how it's gonna be for a little bit. So that is how January turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will say I am trying to stay up to date on creating videos because I like creating videos, but I'm obviously not pushing myself because I'm going to be postpartum and also having just had major abdominal surgeries. We'll see what I get up to. So thanks for watching. See you later.